Hi, my dear students. We are back for the lesson, the address. This is from your textbook, Snapshot. Okay? And the address was written by Marga Minko. So, in the last classes, we have seen that the protagonist visit the house of Mrs. Darling, and she was one of the acquaintance of her mother. But once the girl visited the house, Mrs. Darling refused to recognize the girl, and she was not even ready to talk with her as if there was someone in the family. She doesn't want to disturb the person. And also we see that the girl who stands at the door was totally confused because she thought that she knocked the wrong door or she came to the wrong address. But as she was about to leave, we have seen that the girl saw the lady wearing her mother's green cardigan. I think you remember what cardigan is all about. And also we have seen that the narrator understood that the address that she was having is correct, or she came to the right address. In order to confirm with the address, she read the name board. It was written Darling, number 46. Okay? And we see that as the narrator and her family, being Jewish and because of the World War II, they went to hiding. And during that time, all the things in their house, before going to hiding, we say that Mrs. Darling, who was an acquaintance of her mother, came to collect all the valuable things, telling that it's to safeguard their home as well as to keep the things pretty good in the house. Okay, so after each visit, we see that this Mrs. Darling was carrying a lot of things along with her, and she find it very hard even to carry that things. Okay, all these things were well remembered by the protagonist or the narrator here. Okay, and we see that once Mrs. Darling refused to accept this narrator, she is going back to railway station. And I think there we stopped in the last class. Now take your textbook, page number 12. Let's continue. My mother seemed to notice that I was not entirely convinced. She looked at me reprovingly, and after that we spoke no more about it. Meanwhile, I had arrived at the station without having paid much attention to things on the way. I was walking in familiar places again for the first time since the war, but I did not want to go further than was necessary. I didn't want to upset myself with the sight of the street and the houses full of memories from a precious time. So, we have seen that this girl, as she was ignored by Mrs. Darling, she remembers, she had a vague remembrance about Mrs. Darling coming to their house, carrying the things, bundles, and she was moving ahead. So this time we see that once she also happened to see Mrs. Darling in such a situation, and we see that the mother of this narrator was not at all feeling happy about the attitude shown by the protagonist. Okay, and we see that she was not even convinced the action done by Mrs. Darling, because we see that Mrs. Darling after each visit takes the valuable things or precious things of their house, telling that I'm going to keep it with me, I'll return to you when you are back after the war, and everything. So this was not digest by the girl, but mother just advised her not to ask anything regarding this, and the critical view of this girl really worried the mother, and she just told her not to interfere in this, or it was for their goodness that Mrs. Darling is being kind to them for keeping the things likewise. Okay, and once the mother gave such an explanation, from that day onwards we see that this girl or the protagonist was not ready to ask any question or ask anything about Mrs. Darling to her mother. Okay, so as we see that she was on the way back to railway station, she thinks about all these things. She was just remembering the talkings that she had with her mother regarding this Mrs. Darling, and how she came and how she left the house. Everything she was one after the other thinking, and she was moving towards the railway station. Okay, and we see that here, as she was going back to the railway station, she was not giving much importance to the street or to the places where she is walking now, because you know that this is a very familiar place close to her heart, because this is her homeland, isn't it? So once the war just broke out, she and her family need to go for hiding. So after the World War liberation, after they were liberated from the hidings from the concentration camps or from the Holocaust, we see that the only survivor of her family is this girl. Okay, so once she came back to this land, homeland, she feels a great memorable things, or nostalgia just started haunting her. So she doesn't want to give much importance to the places that she is just walking. Okay, and you know that the familiar places where she is as a child she used to play, and you know that where mother daughter they used to have go for shopping and all. So all the buildings, all the houses are very familiar to this girl. Okay, so she paid less attention to the sights on the way. She doesn't want to trouble herself. She doesn't want to put herself with a lot of memories of the past time with her mother, with her family. Okay, she is considering that moments are some of the valuable things in her life. So she doesn't want to worry herself. She was just walking straight away through the road without giving much attention to the sides of the street. Okay, then what happened by the time she reached the railway station? Already we have seen that she came to this land, to this place on a special train. Okay, she thought of going back because her acquaintance or this Mrs. Darling was not ready to accept her. She was not even ready to have a talk with this girl. Okay, so she thought of going back to railway station to catch the train. Okay, in the train back I saw Mrs. Darling in front of me again as I had the first time I met her. It was the morning after the day my mother had told me about her. I had got up late, and coming downstairs I saw my mother about to see someone out, a woman with a broad back. "There is my daughter," said my mother. She beckoned to me. The woman nodded and picked up the suitcase under the coat rack. She wore a brown coat and a shapeless hat. "Does she live far away?" I asked, seeing the difficulty she had going out of the house with heavy case. "In Marconi Street," said my mother, "number 46. Remember that." Okay, so now she reached the railway station, and in the train, as she was seated inside the train, she started thinking once again about this Mrs. Darling. And she thinks that, when is the first time that I saw her? So here on the train, she just started visualizing the first sight that this girl had about this Mrs. Darling. Okay, so we see that she was just remembering one incident, that one day she woke up late in the morning, and as she was coming downstairs, she saw that her mother was seeing of someone. And who was that? None other than this Mrs. Darling. Okay, this Mrs. Darling was standing there, and by the time she just noted one thing, that this lady is having a broad back. And also here we see that this Darling was about to leave by the time the mother of this protagonist just introduced this daughter to Mrs. Darling, telling that she is my daughter. How? By signaling. Maybe she is only coming from upstairs to downstairs. Mrs. Darling as well as her mother may be standing outside. She might have shown her face, telling that, see, that's my daughter. Okay, and just maybe showing hands or showing eyes. And Mrs. Darling had a look at this girl, and this girl also had a sight of this Mrs. Darling, and that was the first time this protagonist as well as this Mrs. Darling met each other. Okay, now at present, sitting on the train, this protagonist or this girl, she was just remembering the day that she first saw this Mrs. Darling in her house, and also that time she was just looking at this lady. Okay, one of the feature is that she is having a broad back, and also she says that by the time looking at the lady, she might have felt so troublesome because she is carrying a lot of burden. What is that burden? bundle in her hand, isn't it? Already we have seen that after each visit, this darling used to take away valuable things of the house, because you know that they were rich. They were having precious things at home, just like antique things, just like silver spoons and all. Okay, so this is Mrs. Darling thought of collecting all these things by telling that, okay, when you come back, I'll give it to you. Otherwise, this Nazi party will destroy your house and it will just go to nothingness. Okay, and better let me keep it for yourself. So likewise, with that excuse, she used to carry a lot of things with her. So this girl, while she was sitting in the train, remembers all the incident one after the other. Just like a flashback, she is thinking about the life that she had with her mother, the coming of this Mrs. Darling to their house, how she goes. She carries a lot of things, that too heavy bundles under the coat rack. Okay, then she even remembers the color of the dress that she was wearing on that particular day. What was the color? She was wearing a brown coat and a shapeless hat. That too was well remembered by this girl while she was in the train. She remembers. She was just visualizing the thing that happened in the past. And by the time, she also remembers that her mother introducing that lady to this girl, as well as when this girl asked, looking at the burden that she is carrying, this girl asked where she lives. And what was the reply given by the mother? That was an address. What was the address? In Marconi Street, number 46. Okay. When the mother replied the place where she lived, she also said, or she also told her daughter to remember this address. Because you know that they can't predict their life. Sometimes the whole family will be coming back. And now in this case, only who came? The protagonist. Okay, the narrator herself, she came back. Okay, so at that time, her mother gave her the address. What was the address? In Marconi Street, number 46. Yes, she remembers the very same address. She had confirmed it with the nameplate of the house, Darling, number 46. In which street? Marconi Street. She came to the right address. Okay, she remembers all these things. She was just seated inside the train. She remembers everything, one after the other, the incidents that happened, a life with her mother, how she comes and all. Okay, then I had remembered it, but I had waited a long time to go there. Initially, after the liberation, I was absolutely not interested in all that stored stuff, and naturally, I was also rather afraid of it. Afraid of being confronted with the things that had belonged to a connection that no longer existed, which were hidden away in cupboards and boxes and waiting in vain until they were put back in the place again, which had endured all those years because they were things. So now, as she was seated inside the train, she thinks about the address given by her mother, and now she says that yes, after the liberation, you know that after the World War happened, all the Jewish people were tortured in so many concentration camps and Holocaust, and the British allies or British army came to liberate these people. So after this liberation, this girl was living in a small hut or place likewise, and she was very much afraid to come back to her native place, to her homeland. And the first thing is that she doesn't want to come here is because she was only alone. And she doesn't want to see the things that related to her life, that gives many memories of her life. And the second thing is that she was afraid to visit the place after liberation. Because you know that after the liberation, even the non-Jewish people were also not ready to accept the Jewish people. Because they were afraid. That in one reason. The other thing is that now they seem to be very superior. Isn't it? So these Jewish people were tortured once. So definitely they have the demerits in their life, or they have some problems or difficulties that they have faced. So no one will be trying to help these people. So because of all these things, and she is the only one who survived in her family. Because of all these things, she was not interested to come back to her homeland. Okay? And these two reasons, because of these two reasons, First of all, she doesn't want to see the things that gives many memories of her life, precious, valuable memories of her life. She wanted to ignore it. The second one, she was afraid to visit the place after liberation. She doesn't know how the people is going to react or how the situation is all about. She was much worried. So she took some time to visit in this address, or she took some time to come back to this place. Okay? And also we see that the other thing is that whenever she thinks about the things which were hidden, you know that we love things. Because of that reason, whenever we go for shopping, whenever we find something so pleasing to our sight, we used to buy just for showcasing the things, just for giving as a gift to someone. Isn't it? So many things will be there in our homes too. Just like antique things, showcasing things, candlesticks, and each thing that is present in our home has a story to say. Maybe that may be a plate, but that plate might have been gifted by someone. So there is a story behind that. And that may be some, gift items or decoration items or decorative things that too have something to tell. Something that was given to you by your mother. Something that was given to you by your friends. So each and everything in your house has got a story to say. Now she thinks that all these things are stuffed in a cupboard, sitting there lifeless. Okay? And we see that as long as they are stuffed in cupboards or in almaras, they are only things. Simply they can be called as things because they didn't have any life. It gets back to life only when it is placed in their particular organized places. When it was taken and put them back to their places. Otherwise, it will be all considered as just as things, simply things, which doesn't have any memories, which doesn't have any values, which doesn't have any life or stories to be said. So she thinks that it's not suitable for me to go now. Okay. So that's one of the reasons that she longed or she waited a long time to reach in this address. She wanted to go there. She wanted to touch everything. But she took some time. Okay? Then what happened? But gradually everything became normal again. Bread was getting to be lighter color. There was a bed. You could sleep in unthreatened. A room with a view. You were most used to glancing at each day. And one day I noticed I was curious about all the possessions that must still be at that address. I wanted to see them, touch and remember. So, as we told, the second reason why she took long time to reach to this address is because she was afraid of after the liberation. So now, when all the scenario became favorable for her after the liberation, she was curious about her things. Now she was leading a normal life. Now there is nothing to worry about. She got a better place to live and there is nothing to worry about. There is no one to threaten her. No Nazis party will come and torture her anymore. Okay? And everything started becoming normal. That's why the color of the bread got light. That means she started taking good food. So all the ambience seemed to be well favored. So now as she started leading a new life after this liberation, slowly she wished to have all the things that was stuffed inside the cupboard or which was kept in the house of Mrs. Darling, the only memories of her life, the things that was used by her mother, the things which was bought by her mother for her. She wanted to touch, she wanted to feel, she wanted to smell, she wanted to experience. I think you understand the situation of this girl as she is leading a life all alone. It's not her fault. It's not the fault of her family, isn't it, that she is alone now. And also all the things, antique things, the plates, the crockeries, the spoons, the things, the bedsheet, even the dress of her mother, everything that was carried away by Mrs. Darling, she wanted to have a look. So once she started to lead a normal life, She wished to see all the things once again in her life. She wanted to experience the memories of her life. She wanted to smell the fragrance of her mother. She wanted to have the beautiful life back, at least the memories, by touching the things which were kept beautifully arranged in their house once. So, she once again remembered the address of Mrs. Darling in order to see all the possessions. Okay, so this is how she reached the home of Mrs. Darling. Okay, so once again she wanted to lead a life which was lost in her life. With the smell of her family, she thought of seeing that once again. She remembered the address, Mrs. Darling, number 46, Marconi Street. So that's how she is here in the street. But we see that this lady was not ready to accept her. This lady was not ready to talk with this girl. As a result, we see that now, at the present moment, as the story continues, she is seated inside the train and was just recollecting all the things that happened in the past. And she very convincingly says that how she came now. After a long time after liberation, she is back to her native place, but this lady was not ready to accept her. After my first visit in vain to Mrs. Darling's house, I decided to try a second time. Now, a girl of about 14 opened the door to me. I asked her if her mother was at home. No, she said. My mother's doing an errand. No matter, I said, I'll wait for her. So what we see here, so once she was just thinking about all the possessions of her mother, which was taken away by Mrs. Darling to her house as a custodian of things, to keep it for the time being. Okay? Now, as she was just thinking about all these things, she thought of having a touch, or she wished to touch, to see the things once again. So the first time when she came here, Mrs. Darling ignored her. So as she has got a great wish and eagerness to see the things once again and to touch, to experience the feeling of her family, she thought of visiting Mrs. Darling's house for the second time. Okay? So the daughter of Mrs. S, that is our narrator or the protagonist or the author, she was just visiting this house for the second time because of her eagerness to touch, to see, to experience the things once they possessed in their life. She was pretty sure that all the things were safe in the house of Mrs. Darling. Okay? So this time, second time, when she came with the address to Mrs. Darling's house, this time the door was opened by a girl of 15. Definitely, she may be the daughter of Mrs. Darling. Okay? And the author or the narrator asked, "Where's your mother?" And immediately the girl said, "My mother had gone somewhere, or she gone for errand." That means she gone somewhere for something, maybe for outing, shopping, or something like that. She has gone errand. Okay. And immediately we see that the narrator says that, okay, I'll wait for her. Because this time she wanted to speak to Mrs. Darling. She wanted to see the things. She wanted to take back the things once they possessed in their life. Because you know that last class we have seen that all the things are simply things once they are kept in the cupboard. And that will get life when it was properly arranged on its place. Because you know that each and everything that we have in our house has a story to say. Or it has life. It has special things or special stories to say. Isn't it? That makes our life full happy. Okay, this time also she wanted to have all the possessions of her mother back to her home in order to remember her mother, her family, their happy days, time, everything. So she said that, okay, don't worry, I'll wait for Mrs. Darling. Okay. I followed the girl along the passage. An old-fashioned iron Hanukkah candle holder hung next to her mirror. We never used it because it was much more cumbersome than a single candlestick. So what we see here, now the girl of 15 just invited her inside the house, unlike her mother. What was the response of Mrs. Darling? She was not even ready to open the door fully. She was half hiding behind the door. You have seen that, isn't it? And in between, narrator happened to see the green knitted cardigan that once belonged to her mother. That's how she recognized that, yes, I was not wrong. I came to the correct address. Okay? So this time, instead of this attitude, this girl, she opened the door and she invited a narrator to their home. Because the narrator said that I'll wait for your mother. And the girl might have said that she has gone somewhere, she'll be back soon. So she enters in the second time when she came to this house, isn't it? So she moved along with the girl to their house. Okay? And as she was moving through the passage to the living room, the first thing that she saw in the room is the Hanukkah candlestick. Hanukkah is a festival celebrated by Jewish people. Okay? And in this festival, actually this is Hanukkah festival is a festival of light for them. During this festival, they used to light the candlesticks. It's a very precious thing that all the Jewish family have what? Candlesticks at home. And now here the first thing that this narrator sees as she is passing through the passage, she happened to see a Hanukkah candle holder. Okay, which was theirs, or which will belong to the narrator's family, which was one of the possession of her mother. And she thinks that, this candlestick, we rarely use this. Rarely use this means we never use this because of cumbersome. Cumbersome means unmanageable. Maybe it's too large, it may be heavy, and it may be very hard to move from one place to another. So anyhow, now this candlestick was placed as a showcase piece, just for giving a decoration to the house. Okay, it was kept on the passage. The first thing that she recognized something that belonged to their family is the Hanukkah candlestick. Okay, so this is the first thing she sees in this house. Want to sit down? Asked the girl. She held open the door of the living room and I went inside past her. I stopped, horrified. I was in a room I knew and did not know. I found myself in the midst of things I did not want to see again, but which oppressed me in the strange atmosphere. All because of the tasteless way everything was arranged, because of the ugly furniture or the muggy smell that hung there. I don't know, but I scarcely dared to look around me. Okay, so now what happens here is, once the narrator was invited inside the house, after experiencing one of the most loud thing or one of the most possessed thing of her mother, Hanukkah candlestick, we see that she is just moving forward, and she was just entered inside the living room. Once she entered inside the living room, we see that the girl just arranges a seat in the drawing room or the living room. And we see that the narrator was hopefully looking around to see the things. And once she looked around, the room was filled with all the possessions of her mother. Okay? So, here she sees something that belonged to her mother. But it was like, there is a line, it goes like this. What is that? It was like she knew everything, but there was something that is unknown. What is that? All the things in the room is very, she knows it everything, all the things. It's familiar. All the things in the room are familiar, but the place is unfamiliar. Why she says likewise is, you know that once we get a thing in our hand as a gift or something that we buy, we just keep it in a place. We arrange a particular place for them. And we always wanted that thing to be in that particular place, which gives beauty and elegance to the room. But here, all the things was kept in an orderless manner, in an unknown place. All the familiar things were kept in an unfamiliar way. So that's why we see that the narrator was much disturbed and she felt so uncomfortable. So how you arrange your room, You have a way of seeing things in a pretty manner. But here, the valuable things which was just spread everywhere, it was not arranged perfectly in the way that she wished to see the things in this house. So that's why she says that it was like much disturbed, and she felt so uncomfortable to see the familiar things in an unfamiliar place. She was so sad about how the things were thrown all around, how it was just kept. And along with that, here we see that she says that she got so much disappointed because the things which she saw there gave a burden to her heart. It was arranged or laid in a tasteless manner. What do you mean by tasteless manner? Tasteless manner means not at all in a proper way. Say, just like a messy manner. Everything in a messy manner. Unkept, disorder way. Everything was arranged. That too, the possessions of her family. Isn't it? And you can imagine how the narrator might have felt like. Her mother considered all these things as very valuable, and the very same things were now thrown in the room without arranging it properly in a tasteless manner. See, the laziness of the family was highlighted here. What is that? Then appreciation for life was not seen in this family. They don't have any rule and order in their life. Even the costly things were thrown all around without keeping it properly. So this side really gave a burden to the heart of the narrator. Moreover, it was just spoiling the serenity of the things, the value of things. Okay, so apart from all these things, this room had got a humid smell. That means she felt like congested. She is not feeling comfortable, along with some ugly furnitures. What is this ugly furnitures means? That too was not kept properly. It was not arranged properly. Why we are just making a room? You know that nowadays people are giving much importance to interior decorations and all. So we see that this narrator who was standing in this room, she also felt like how the things were kept. She was scared to look everywhere. Because of ugly furniture, because of the humid smell, everything created a burden to her heart. Then, the girl moved a chair. I sat down and stared at the woolen tablecloth. I rubbed it. My fingers grew warm from rubbing. I followed the lines of the pattern. Somewhere on the edge there should be a bone mark that had never been repaired. My mother will be back soon, said the girl. I have already made tea for her. Will you have a cup? Thank you. So now, by the time the narrator was given a chair by the girl, she was sitting very near to a table. And once she looked at the table, she could see a familiar tablecloth. Maybe that tablecloth also belongs to whom? Belongs to the narrator's family. So once she sees this tablecloth, she started putting her hands, because this is something that her mother liked the most. Isn't it? Might have liked the most. So she started touching. She started just slowly, her fingers started following the pattern of the cloth. And now she remembers, yes, there is something that I can remember. There is one burned mark in the cloth. She was searching for that. And by the time her fingers got warm from touching. Maybe the tablecloth was not properly cleaned up, or otherwise she might have got the warmth of her family. So anyhow, she started touching. Her fingers just slowly followed the pattern of the cloth, and she remembered somewhere in the corner of the tablecloth there was a burn mark, and that burn mark was not repaired. Okay, she realizes, she identifies the Hanukkah candlestick. She remembers this particular tablecloth. She looked at all the valuable things which was kept in this house. Okay, now, and also we see that by the time as she was seated there near the table, this girl just offered a cup of tea. She said that already I have prepared a tea for my mother. Do you like to have a cup of tea? Okay. So, and also she assured that my mother will be back soon. Okay. And by the time the narrator thanked the girl for her hospitality. Okay. So what we see here is this girl is totally different from her mother. She had shown a hospitality towards this narrator apart from Mrs. Darling. Let's stop this and continue the rest of the part in the next class. Okay, thank you all. Have a great day.